Hello, and welcome back to This Week in Sports for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. I'm Jack Kroll. Next to me is Joe Forbes and Jake Serrano. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. What about you, Forbes?
I'm missing the good weather. I mean, it's cold again today. It was really warm the past couple days, almost 80, so that's how I'm feeling. It definitely
beautiful.
was, yeah. It was beautiful out.
All right, so now let's get into things. As the NFL season is over, we can officially start talking about free agency now. There are a lot of big stars on the market, stars like Malcolm Butler, Kirk Cousins, and Allen Robinson, just to name a few. There are still many more out there. Where do you think all of these big stars will go?
Well, the thing is that right now the free agency, there's a lot of great opportunity with a lot of proven players like Cousins, like Robinson, that are out there, that are proven vets in the league, and Malcolm Butler too, just to say a few. And the draft, yes, there's a lot of good players in the draft, but if you really want a solid player, I mean, you got to invest your money into these players, and you also got to, intrigue them. I think the Jets is a great option for a lot of these guys, but at the same time, are these guys going to want to play for the Jets? Because, yes, they did show some flashes of good play between Anderson and McCown doing pretty good on the offensive side, but, I mean, their defense is a little weak.
It is.
The Jets just, I don't think they can really attract a superstar player at this point right now. I think they still need to rebuild.
I think the only thing the Jets really have, and I'm a Jets fan, but I really think the only thing they have in their powers is the amount of cap they have.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there was a report coming out of came out the other day and said the Jets will be willing to pay whatever it takes to get Kirk Cousins. The only thing about that is I don't really think that they'll be able to get him.
I mean, at the same time, when Le'Veon Bell before he has a lot of contract talks and stuff. But Le'Veon Bell, he even laughed in the Jets' face because there's so much money that the Jets have, but for a player, it's really not that worth it for them to go to the Jets because, I mean, right now the Jets are one of the laughing stocks, including the Cleveland Browns, of the NFL.
But the thing for the Jets and Kirk Cousins is that Kirk Cousins there's a potential that he could go there with the connection that he has with Jeremy Bates, who they raised up from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator.
And they have a lot of promise.
The thing about Kirk Cousins is if he doesn't go there, but I think his best chance is really the Broncos, and I think they're going to make a strong push for him because they have Emmanuel Sanders, who they're putting on the trade. They're trying to make more cap for Kirk Cousins to kind of reel his way in there, and as it's shown, they've had a strong defense, but it's been throughout the league, you don't know. This is defense.
The thing is, okay, for the Broncos, their case for Cousins, which I think is a very strong one. The only other team that I think presents a similar case is the Arizona Cardinals, is because the Broncos have good weapons. They have C.J. Anderson at back, and you also have Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders for right now. And, I mean, yes, you can build upon that, and you have a decent pick in the draft this year. So, I mean, you can probably draft a pretty good offensive weapon to go along with the signing of Cousins. And, I mean, a championship defense. Let's not forget it. They won the championship 2 years ago. This is still the same defense.
They did have the best defense in the league.
They had the best, but, I mean, it's still the same core guys. Von Miller, Chris Harris.
There's one thing that doesn't really get talked about, though, and I know we're saying all these other teams, but one thing we really don't talk about is the Browns. And they have 2 first-round picks. They have 3 second-round picks. If you really think about it, Kirk Cousins, he could get the most money there. I'm not saying he's probably going to go for the money. I mean, you kind of want to go where you want. I'm saying if he wants to go to the Browns, say he goes to the Browns, and they say to him, pick two guys you really want to work with. Say 2 receivers you want to work with. Think about it, though. They have so much money in cap. They have these awesome picks. It's always set up for the Browns, but it always seems to fail. But it's always a potential spot that you can go, and I think people can't forget that this is such a hot spot for a team. Even if you get the Browns going, I mean, you'll be a legend in Cleveland.
Yeah, you're going to get a statue put up. You're going to be the biggest thing in that city.
I mean, LeBron James, let's be honest, he's probably bigger than anything there. But in football-wise, yeah, you'd probably be up in there with Jim Brown and stuff. But at the same time, Cleveland is going to be a dead end for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is not a guy that's going to be able to carry a team.
Cleveland is a place where it's basically it's a graveyard of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I mean, think about all of the first round busts that they've had over the years.
Detmer, and going to Manziel, to Seneca Wallace, to like everybody,
so many,
Whedon.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's like about 27 since '99. So the thing is that, I mean, Cleveland is not a good spot for Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins, he was struggling with the Redskins, the Redskins are a better team They're a better team than the Browns.
Yeah,
And
but the Redskins
he struggled.
fell apart. Their roster is slowly deteriorating.
Yeah, but
It
the
is, it
Browns
is.
is already a deteriorated roster
Yeah,
with
but
like
they have
a
something
few
to
young
build on.
players.
They have stuff to
Yeah,
build
but
on.
but you can't just throw Kirk Cousins in there. Kirk Cousins is not going to be able to lead the Browns, and that AFC North is a hard division.
Well, you have
It's getting
Yeah, the
older. in the
Steelers-
AFC
it's getting-
North,
It doesn't
though.
matter
It's
if
not
they're
getting
old,
as,
they're
it's
still
getting a lot
strong.
weaker. You have the
It
Ravens
is
who are
weaker, but the
deteriorating, and you
Kirk
have the
Cousins
Bengals
is
who are
not good enough.
deteriorating. The only
Kirk
team that's
Cousins is not
decent
good
is
enough.
Pittsburgh. The only team that's
The
decent is
Ravens, the
Pittsburgh.
Ravens had a top defense this season.
But
Yeah, the
their
Ravens-
offense is
and they
is
also have
slacking.
Joe Flacco, former Super Bowl MVP.
Joe
Let's
Flacco
not forget about that.
is going down as well.
Yes, I mean Joe Flacco was never that great, but I mean the Ravens are definitely going to be a better team than the Browns, even after these picks. Even if they got Kirk Cousins, I'd take the Ravens over the Browns. There's too much new faces in the Browns for them to succeed in one season.
All right, but say if you're the Browns, say if you get Barkley and you get a very good receiver, you're going to have
We'll just call it Calvin Ridley.
you're going to have a premium running back that you could easily rely on, and you have a dual threat with Josh Gordon.
Okay, great, but you also have Joe Thomas, who's coming off his first season with an injury, and your only other good lineman up front is Joel Bitonio. Besides that, you have a line that gave up the fourth most sacks in the league, and has only had Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson run for over
I
100
think
yards in
another
the past
landing
3
spot
years.
could be for Kirk Cousins could potentially be the Vikings. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't really talking about it.
The Vikings have 3 quarterbacks
But-
right now that they can decide between. I do not think they're going to
There's
go
a
with
sense
Cousins.
that he could go there because
No.
yeah. Well, what happens? Sam Bradford's getting old. He has injuries. If they don't
And I
franchise
believe
Case
he-
Keenum and don't sign him,
I was gonna say, I
Teddy
believe-
Bridgewater's going
yeah.
too.
I mean, again, the Vikings have a decision to make out of their 3 quarterbacks. They're probably going to keep one, maybe 2 of them.
It's
I mean,
always a spot.
they're all starting caliber quarterbacks that could probably bring them back to pretty much where they left off this past season. But I mean, they're not going with Kirk Cousins.
Let's head now over into the MLB with a lot of free agents who were signed late, and there's still some that are available. They have incredible talent. There are some all-star players out there, some World Series winners, and even a Cy Young Award winner. Those people are Jake Arrieta, Mike Moustakas, and Alex Cobb. Why do you think no one wants these great players? There's just a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is that to finish your thought is that yes, there's so many great players, and why are they here so late? That's the reason for that is that there's teams that are just not willing to open up their checkbooks for players. And
I agree. A lot of this, I will say, is because of the whole tanking thing. Very similar to what the Marlins are doing. Very, very similar to what Pittsburgh has done.
And I mean, yeah, you gotta be scared because right now the MLB is becoming almost like the NBA in this sense, where they are kind of stacking their teams. The teams, there's only about a top 10 crop of talent, and then you kind of just have the rest of the league.
You have the Yankees, the Astros, Cubs, Dodgers, Red Sox, and
There you go.
that's your core. That's
pretty much it.
That's basically
I mean,
it. And
teams
the rest
that
of
were
these
showing
teams-
promise.
the rest of these teams that are just either cutting their players or trading them away for minor leaguers and building up their farm systems for years to come, which is a smart move down the line, but I just do not agree with it.
I mean, again, you saw it earlier this free agency period with McCutchen being traded to the Giants. I mean,
same
you're
thing
seeing
with
teams just kind of fold.
Longoria traded to the Giants.
Yeah, and the Rays and the Miami Marlins obviously just trading away the MVP, Giancarlo Stanton. Again, teams are just kind of folding because they see that there is this rise of power in again the top 10 teams, and that there is really nothing for them to do besides build for the future and that's the smartest thing that they can do because
Although, I will
save
say,
money. You also are building and planning for a future title run.
I will say, though, that I was very surprised recently with the acquisition that the Padres made of Eric Hosmer because they looked like a team that was going down that same path of tanking, and they have a very, very young roster. I mean, it's smart to add that veteran presence in there just to help these young guys along. A guy that has won a World Series with Kansas City and has that experience in the postseason and knows how to handle big game situations and everything like that.
Yeah, I know. The Padres, it just surprises me because, again, like you said, the Padres didn't really seem like even a contender at all
They signed him to a huge deal too. It was 8 years.
8 years,
It was about-
$144 million.
And that's a large commitment.
That is a big commitment.
And that's a large commitment for both sides, especially for Hosmer, for a team that
Seems like
most
that's the rest of
likely
his
is not
career.
going to make a real championship
Yeah.
contending run in his
And
8 years.
The one also thing, again, this is going to be way ahead for the Padres. Say if they don't do well these next couple of years, that could be a good trading piece for them.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, let's say this doesn't work 2 years into the contract. That's still a 6-year deal, and we've seen it so many times happen where you have this huge deal with
Just doesn't
too much
pan out.
commitment in a bunch of different sports and different leagues. Between Parise signing that 13-year deal years ago, and I mean also
Stanton's deal.
Yeah, Stanton's deal. I was gonna say A-Rod's deal with 10
there's
years.
a bunch. Cano's deal.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that's too big of a
If
commitment.
you guys owned one of these MLB teams, would you rather be conservative or would you rather be aggressive and go after a bunch of this talent
let's see
that's out there?
I want to go after the
'Cause
talent,
the
but
interesting-
if you know that you have a team that is going to make a push, and you need that piece, go after it.
The interesting thing with baseball, it's the only league in the major four sports that does not have a salary cap, which you can go either way on this. I tend to go that it is better for the sport, but you could go either way on it because it allows the teams that deserve the most money
It's
to
fair,
go.
it's
have the
fair, but
luxury
at the same time, it kills the smaller market teams.
It destroys
completely depletes them, and it makes it
Although
hard
you
for
do
those
see
teams.
you do see what the why these teams are tanking. The say the Marlins, the Pirates,
But at the same time, though, most of these and
That's
most
why
of these,
they're doing
most of
it.
these,
They're
most of
loading
these
up the farm
baseball teams,
systems.
most of these baseball teams, they about a half of their salary for their salary cap comes from their TV deals with Fox Sports or Comcast.
It does.
So, I mean, really nobody's really left out. It's just a lot more money, and there's like no restrictions. So a team like the Yankees, which is selling hats in China and all over the world because they're a global. They're a global market. Yeah,
they're
the biggest sports franchise
in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, besides like Manchester United, but yes,
They're up there.
yes, they're up there, top 3. But it's just such a global thing that it kind of makes it unfair because it's like, okay, the Yankees always are going to have enough money to get whoever they want, and they also have one of the best farm systems in the league. So it kind of gives them an advantage that's kind of unfair. But I mean, overall, yes.
Going back to the Yankees real quick, you guys probably might not want to hear this, but I mean, I know you're talking about market value and you know how you're saying like Fox and everything, and you get the sponsorships. I know Russell Wilson was traded to the Yankees. Do you think that's more of a like a market thing, or is it actually?
There's no real
happen?
marketability as if he
it's
doesn't actually
A lot
say
of-
he's going to actually
a
like
lot-
even practice like Tebow's been doing with the Mets. Unless that happens, there's zero marketability.
He's not going to pull off a Bo Jackson thing at all. He's not. A lot of this was because he had a dream of playing for the Yankees and everything like that. There wasn't much of a stake in that for the Rangers or the Yankees at all. But now let's talk about from the free agents now to this upcoming season, because the MLB season is right around the corner. Many teams have reloaded this offseason. The Yankees have even more power in their lineup. The Astros have even better pitching, and the Cubs have added another incredible pitcher. What are you looking forward to this season in the MLB?
I have an easy answer. As a Yankee fan, I just can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see how, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think everyone can't wait to see.
It's incredible because
Judge and Stanton,
it's
Sanchez still there. Like, that is an insane. That is truly
in
the
my
Bronx
eyes,
Bombers.
it is probably a biased set of eyes, but you have the 3 most powerful players in Major League Baseball.
Two. Sanchez is powerful, but not most.
He's definitely up there amongst
He's up
the top
there.
5. It really does remind me of, I mean, obviously we weren't around for the time, but Mantle and Maris. You have guys that have hit into the 50s, coming back or going to the Yankees. You have Stanton who hit 59
I
last
think
year.
it's even bigger though because
It definitely could be.
because Judge was
A rookie.
a rookie last year, almost winning MVP against the guy that he pretty much lost the MVP to.
Yeah.
NLAL, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I mean, he had the most home runs in the American League
It's
as a
insane.
rookie. He hit 52. He broke the record he broke the record by 3.
Let's just say if the Yankees. All right, you're saying they're going to have a great season. Right?
I would be surprised if they don't make the World Series.
So you're saying this is going to be a strong core, and you're saying they're going to go all the way. Well, let's just say that doesn't happen. Let's just say maybe God forbid. I'm not saying he will, but let's just say one of them gets injured, or this doesn't happen. What's another team that you think might show up and shock?
I mean, you can't
shock. I don't really.
I don't
see a lot of shock happening.
The only teams I would consider that happening would. I mean, I wouldn't consider the Houston Astros being a shock, considering they just won.
I guess the big thing would be is if, especially keeping it in the AL East, if the Yankees fell, I think the Red Sox would probably take that over, and I think that'd be the big shock.
Those teams, the Yankees and the Red Sox, seem like the only 2 teams in the American League East that aren't tanking.
Oh, of course. I mean, the Blue Jays completely just folded, Rays folded, and the Orioles are kind of struggling.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
I mean, and maybe the other team from the AL is the Indians. They have been known to, what I would say, choke. Mm-hmm. I mean, up 2-0 against the Yankees.
Yeah.
Lost. Up 3-1 against the Cubs. Lost. But in the NL, I mean, I'm expecting, because the Cubs picked up Yu Darvish very late, too, which I was surprised about. Very great move. They don't have Arrieta back. They're not going to have Arrieta back. You're going to get, out of him, as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the best pitchers. And he's going to be a Cy Young contender.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of, not really surprised, but I was a little surprised with the trade before, the deadline, when he was traded from the Rangers.
I wasn't that surprised.
I mean, I know that it was a one, he only had like a year left, but I really kind of thought that they were going to try and lock that up. But regardless, Darvish with the Cubs is going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, and the Astros, even better pitching. I mean, you have Garrett Cole from Pittsburgh. It's incredible. It's going to be a very interesting postseason.
And I mean, Dallas Keuchel definitely dominated during the playoffs. You're
going to have Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Dallas Keuchel.
And Justin Verlander was a really great addition. I couldn't believe that, too. I mean, Verlander was one of the best Detroit Tigers. I mean, he was MVP, Cy Young, whatever. Like, just incredible player. And I was surprised that he...
Now, we talked about all these All-Stars. Let's get into the NBA All-Star Game, which has come and gone. There is a brand-new format this year where there was Team LeBron with the win over Team Steph. This year, there's 2 fan-picked Two fan-picked captains instead of the East versus West. What are your thoughts on it?
I really enjoyed this. I really thought that was cool that they took the highest vote getter in LeBron on the East and Steph in the West, and they made them pick, basically like a fantasy draft of, all-stars, and that was really great. And honestly, with the new I was upset because we missed out on Boogie, we missed out on Kristaps. That these substitute all-star players really actually showed up as well. They also really proved that they deserved actually their all-star nominations, including Paul George. Paul George actually added to, one of the best. He's one of the best defensive wings in the league, and he added to this all-star game that even though 148 points to 145, that's crazy. These are the best scorers in the league, and there was actually some defense being played, and so that was really exciting. Still flashy passes. You saw the LeBron alley-oop bounce pass to Giannis. Not Giannis, but to KD. So that was a great. It was just a really fun time to watch. And Fergie completely botched the the anthem. So
you know what I think was kind of. I mean, it's kind of similar to. I know I always relate things back to football, but it is kind of similar to what the NFL did a couple of years ago. And I know the Pro Bowl isn't the same thing.
Also, same thing as the NFL as well. Or I'm sorry, the NHL. They had fan-picked captains.
I know it's not. I know the Pro Bowl is not the same thing as the All-Star game. It is like a fantasy draft, and I know that the fans voted, and you got the highest player. I know a couple of years ago when the NFL did, they did. Like Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Hall of Famers pick the teams, yes.
I think the All-Star game was a little more organized and a little more cool.
Well, the thing is that people actually, no offense, and I went to the Pro Bowl last year, 2017 in Orlando. Actually, the Pro Bowl has almost no fan interest. The NBA All-Star game is a huge event, big lights, all the celebrities come there. Kevin Hart down in out in L.A. So, I mean, there's a huge following for the NBA All-Star Game.
There is.
So, I mean, yeah, you can compare it to it. But, I mean, I think this is a big deal. This is legitimately the biggest All-Star Game out of all the major four.
Why do you
sports.
think that, though? Do you think because it's football is more contact sport? And
No,
you
it's
don't want
because
the guys getting hurt?
well, that's the thing,
Or-
because in the Pro Bowl, there is a bit of a disinterest because they don't really football fans. Yes, they do want to see scoring, but not really. What they want to see, big hits. They want to see big plays,
Yeah, and that
actual
just
plays.
doesn't happen
There's
in the
no
Pro Bowl.
yeah, that doesn't happen in the
It's
Pro
not
Bowl.
gonna happen.
You just have there's just really, I don't think, a way for the Pro Bowl to actually ever be completely interesting because they're not really playing for much
And
anyways.
same thing that goes along with the NHL. I know it's very similar to the NBA. They used to have teams pick the captains. Now they have that 3-on-3 tournament, trying out different styles and everything like that. But the one All-Star game I've always been excited for every single year is the MLB. Because last year they had it not count for anything because it does take away from a lot of the regular season. But I really love when it has something on the line with the home advantage for the World Series. That was my absolute favorite out of anything.
Well, just bringing it back to the NBA All-Star Game before we change topics is that the NBA All-Star Game is just a really great event, and honestly, I think they knocked it out of the park on this one.
They totally did.
I think that they made it really interesting. And just to recap, I mean the dunk contest was amazing. Donovan Mitchell winning it, such a great dunk. He redid the Vinsanity dunk.
He did.
And Spencer Dinwiddie, shout out to you for winning the skills challenge, Taco Bell skills challenge, and also. Paul George throwing up bricks in the 3-point contest, allowing Devin Booker to win with the 28 points at the 3-point contest. That's a new record.
And on that note, that's going to wrap it up for This Week in Sports. For Joe Forbes and Jake Serrano, I'm Jack Kroll. We'll see you next time and have a great day.